Good afternoon, everyone. It is 2:33 p.m. and we're going to call to order the Policy Committee meeting for the Housing Authority of the County of Monterey, Wednesday, May 8th. If we could have, we'll begin with the Pledge of Allegiance. If you are able, please stand and join us in the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. All right, and if we could have a roll call, please.
Commissioner Francine Goodwin.
Present.
Commissioner Kathleen Ballesteros.
Present.
Commissioner Yuri Anderson.
Here. All right, the committee is here. Is there any member of the public who would like to make a comment on an item that is not on this afternoon's agenda, but within the jurisdiction of the policy committee? Seeing none, public comments are closed and we'll move into discussion.
Okay, so this is our first meeting, and it's really gonna set the tone for how we're gonna move forward. Right now, we have a total of 80 policies under HECM and HDC, and we also have the MOU with the union SEIU 521. So what I think would be the best thing to do is to take the list of the 80 policies. Some of them are really old and outdated, and actually go through the policies and make a list of all of the ones that myself and Human Resources feel are either redundant or outdated, so that we can present those to the committee, explain why these policies need to be dissolved, and get the vote whether or not to move forward with that. And if it's a policy that supersedes it, to also mention that, so that that latest version will be the effective version. So that'll actually cut down on the 80, because there was a lot of older policies out there. The second thing that I would like us to do at the next meeting is to begin discussion on the PBV policy. We've been having a lot of people calling, asking questions about the PBVs, when we gonna release them, what are we gonna do? So I think it'll be good if we had a discussion on it. And so for the next meeting, I also have our development person, Nora, to join. So we could and Jonathan. So we could talk about the PBVs, how they affect development, how they affect Section 8, how many we have left, and how we really see it kind of moving. I don't think it'll be resolved in the next meeting, but it'll provide the foundation for us to have further discussions to decide how we actually want to move forward with the remaining PBVs. So it'll be a good starting point. So the next meeting, we'll have Human Resources on to explain what policies are outdated, antiquated, or have been superseded, and what the steps we need to take to remove them, if you guys agree. And we'll start the conversation about the PBV policy. And so that'll really set us up for our third meeting, which we will pick. I will get with Human Resources. We'll send a list and pick off some of the policies so that we can kind of strategically talk about them, because some of them interact with other ones. Some of them interact with the MOU, so we can get some conformity, and that might help us to really create a employee handbook actually that goes along with the MOU and reduce the number of policies that we have. So if that sounds like, and then every meeting we'll have Human Resource on all these meetings, because they do the policies, and we'll have whatever director the policies affect the most to also attend, so that they can weigh in, and we can really have an objective view of what we're trying to do. If y'all like that strategy, then I can start doing that. But I think the first thing is just to cut down, because 80 policies is just kind of ridiculous. And some of them are so old, it's like the lost key policy, stuff like that. So, You
Okay.
don't have to have a policy for that. And then some of them too is associated with public housing, and we don't have public housing anymore.
I have a suggestion, Zalika.
Yes, ma'am.
Since there's 80 policies and then there's one MOU with the SCI union. How about if we tackle the MOU first, since it's probably current? We could just go over it real quick next meeting.
We can
And
go
si-
over it if you want to.
Yeah, so that
uh,
way, at least it's only one MOU and then the rest are policies. But of course, the PBV is very important that you
Mhm.
mentioned. So we could probably do that one also on the next meeting. Just a suggestion, whatever, I don't know how the other commissioners, what their suggestions are.
The only thing I say, if that's what you want to do, I don't have a problem doing that. But then the next meeting, instead of doing the older policies, we would just go into a deep discussion on the MOU and do the PBV.
Mm-hmm.
Mindful of you guys' time, and then that would push the older policy review to the third meeting.
Okay.
That MOU, that's gonna take quite a bit of time to kind of go through part of it.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
then the PBB to get that started. So I don't want to intentionally have you going, an hour and a half or something like that. So if we do those two and then do the older policies on the next one, if that's the way that y'all.
Well, I don't know how the other commissioners, what do you think, Commissioner Anderson?
Mm. I mean, I guess I could go anyway. I do think getting into the PVV is really important because
Yes, yes.
and I mean, from an expediency perspective, I imagine doing the older policies might be faster and we can bring forward recommendations for edits or
Okay.
repeal. Or I don't know how much our labor groups would want to be, would come to the meeting to talk about the MOU, since a public meeting. I'm not really sure.
And
Yeah,
then another thing, with the MOU, we've already signed it and executed it. So we could, in every meeting, we could actually discuss the MOU, because there should be something in the MOU that correlates to the policy that we're talking about. So we could, like every meeting, say, this is the dress code policy that HECM and HDC have, but this is what the dress code say in the MOU. Do we want to change the policy to mirror the MOU, or do we want to keep those subtle differences, kind of do a comparison, and then that way we going through the whole MOU.
Step by step, like step by step.
And then if there's a policy that's not in there, we'll bring that policy up and say, this is not even mentioned in the MOU. This is just a policy that we had, and decide if we need to keep it or not. But I still think you need to get an overview just of the whole MOU. But if we side by side, that might be one way to do it too.
Yeah. However it works, if we want to do the PBV first and the older poll, that's fine with me. I was just a suggestion.
Whichever way y'all want to do it, just let me know so I can make sure I have it set up for us to go in that direction. Because either way is fine.
Yeah. Commissioner Goodwin, do you have any input?
Well, if we try, I mean, it might be a good idea to try and clean up some of the old things and, outdated. If anything's outdated, to get them either updated or, cleared, like off the record, so to speak. So that we're working toward getting up to date. If there's anything that's out of date.
Yes.
If I'm thinking straight here.
Sounds good to me.
So Zalika would know that better than anybody. What,
Well, we can do an overview of the MOU, kind of touch on it. James can do a little presentation. Then we can roll into the PBV, and then kind of the older policies, we can make that kind of last, because the presentation, he won't do a deep dive, but he'll just talk about the MOU. And so lead time to still go over the policies, because I don't know how many it's going to be, but if it's a lot on, we'll just break them up into pieces.
Right.
Out of the 80, let's say if it was 25 or something. We'll just do 10, and then the next time do another 10 or 5, depending on what the policy is, because some are gonna require more conversation than others.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
My thinking is there's probably a lot that's fallen out of date. You know, just all the way across the board with, you know, anything that's you know, pertinent to bring up to date. So
Yeah, because a
That
lot of
was
them too is, I'm sorry, Ms. Francine, they buy public housing, and you know, you don't have any public housing anymore. You just got multifamily and the farm worker housing.
right,
So
Mhm.
those you don't really need.
right. Well, that's my 2 cents.
Mhm. Thank you. Either way, I'm okay with whatever's decided. I'm good.
Me too.
Commissioner Anderson.
Me too.
Okay. And now since this is the committee, we need to have nominations for a chair and a vice chair.
Okay.
Well, can we open the floor then to nominate?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, I nominate Commissioner Yuri Anderson as the chair. And then I nominate Commissioner Goodwin as the vice chair.
Okay.
I'll second your nomination, Commissioner
I'll second yours.
I like how you jump in there.
I will do the roll call vote. Commissioner Francine Goodwin,
Present. Oh, yes, yes. I'm sorry. Yes.
Kathleen Bellastaros,
Yes.
and Commissioner Yuri Anderson.
Yes.
Okay, y'all done signed your life away, so yay.
All righty then. Are there any comments from commissioners?
I think it was a productive meeting and thank you very much.
Commissioner Goodwin?
I'll echo that.
And I will third it. All right, so let's see, our regular meeting schedule for this is going to be, let me see.
And it's the next one, Gabby. Did she get off?
Sorry, I had a new. Well, we're hoping to push it out to the 27th because we're gonna be out of the
Oh, yeah.
office on the 20th.
Oh,
And I
right.
did get your email, Yuri, that you're unavailable.
Uh-huh.
So
At the time, I mean, unless we keep it, I have to be somewhere at 11. Oh, actually, I have to be here at 11. So yeah, I can do it at 10. I just have to be
Okay.
done by 10:50. But
So-
otherwise, we would be meeting on the third Thursdays at 10 a.m.
yes.
Okay. So we will adjourn this meeting until June.
No, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. No. We'd be meeting on the second Wednesday of the month at
second.
11 a.m. Yeah.
Second Wednesday.
And what
So-
date is that?
For June, it's gonna be on the 27th. No, I'm sorry.
The
Yeah, on the
policy committee will
27th.
be the 12th.
Yeah, and then for July,
It'll be June 12th, right, for our next policy meeting?
Yeah, Gabby, I
Yeah,
think
I'm
you might be
sorry.
talking about the report committee.
yeah, I am. My apologies.
so-
Yeah, because June 12th is the next meeting.
Yes,
At what time?
at 2:30.
At 2:30? Okay. Perfect.
When is the next board meeting?
May 28th to Tuesday.
Okay.
Yes, it is. There it is.
Yeah, because Memorial Day is the 27th, correct?
Correct.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, great. All right, so we stand adjourned until June 12th at 2:30.
Okay,
Yes.
and Yuri, when you get a chance, if you can give me a call about the committees, what you wanna, move forward.
Okay, I can call you right now if you want.
Okay, that's fine. And
All
thank
right.
you again.